Shout out to Blue. What does Blue say? Says, I don't know, Lee. Come to Cook County, Chicago. Corruption is crazy. Cook, man, Chicago. Y'all had those black sites. I read an art. I could. It was, there are certain things that just changed my whole experience on law. Me and Fit went to law school, and they teach everybody in law school the same thing. It doesn't matter which law school you go to, really. Everything's super standardized. And there are two or three things that just shook my entire world. One of them, the biggest thing, I'll be honest with you, is the Eric Snowden. As an attorney, I could not believe it. Eric Snowden told us about the secret prosecutors. Fit, when did we ever learn in law school that there were secret government prosecutors? When did we learn that there were secret judges? When did we learn that there were secret courts? Fit and I, we were trained to defend this country legally, to administer the laws. They never told me and Fit about the secret prosecutors, never told us about these secret courts. Snowden was releasing all these files, information. The secret prosecutors would get these secret judges to issue secret orders. And the orders, so let's say, would go to Google. And at the top of the order, it would say, this is a secret court from a secret judge, and you cannot acknowledge anything about this order. You cannot talk about it. You just have to comply. You can't file anything against it. No whistleblowing. No one in America can know about the secret court system. But you comply, or pay us $40 billion, and all your executives are going to be in contempt and they're going to go to jail. The FBI can't crack Apple phones. FBI says, hey, we want to know how to crack your phones. So you give us the back door. We need this for national security. Apple's like, get a court order. FBI's like, no, for real, give us the shit. Apple's like, we ain't giving you shit. 6 months later, the FBI can crack any iPhone in the nation. And then the FBI is like, we developed a encryption. We developed it on our own. Apple got one of those fucking orders. Google got one of those fucking orders. Blue Baggins says Chicago, corruption goes crazy. I was astounded. I started reading into this. It used to be the case that black people were disappearing, particularly black men in Chicago. They were just disappearing. They weren't turning up dead, but they were disappearing. But it came to be that the communities would find out that, oh, you have to call this certain lawyer. There were certain lawyers that knew about the disappearance. And you call these lawyers, say, okay, what's his name? His name is Tyrone. Okay. Pay me $7,000. Okay. Here's $7,000. I'll give you a call in 2 days. 2 days comes. Hey, let me talk to Tyrone's mom. Listen, Tyrone is great. He'll be home in 3 days. Where is he at? He'll be home in 3 days. Everything's fine. Is he alive? He's alive. Is he hurt? He's not hurt. Guys, the government was holding these black men, accusing them of crimes, and they had them in black sites. They had them in all these buildings that were just imagine just gray Manila or gray brick square block buildings. You didn't know what was in them. No signs, no nothing, just random buildings. And they were holding these men for investigation, these gangsters and all that. What about first appearance? Fit will tell you about first appearance. She'll tell you about a bond. None of that. Your son was missing. But there were a few attorneys who knew what the fuck was going on. This was in Chicago. I couldn't imagine something like that happening in Atlanta. Does it happen? I don't know, but Chicago's crazy. So when Blue's like, "Hey man, Chicago for real, the corruption." Shit, Blue, you got it. I don't want to hear nothing about corruption unless it's from Louisiana or really Chicago for that black site shit. That was insane. But all across the country, man, Snowden, some of y'all are like fucking Obama and think he should be arrested. Oh, he was compromising our military. All right, all right. You can think he's a traitor. I think he is one of our nation's national heroes. I think he is one of the top. If you have a top 10 list of, I don't know, he never won the Medal of Honor. I don't give a fuck who won the Medal of Honor. He let us know about we didn't know about the NSA. You had suspicions that your phone was spying on you. You had no evidence. You didn't know about the NSA. You didn't know their powers. You knew nothing. Snowden was like, here's 80,000 files. Snowden was in the NSA. So, you know, what does Blue say? Blue's like, man, Lee, real talk. I know people that been in them unknown jails. That's exactly what they were. Unknown jails. That's the perfect way to say it. I call it black sites. But that's what they were. Fitz could be like, what do you mean unknown jails? What about first appearance? What about your preliminary hearing? What about your bond? What about it, Nugel? Oh, I'm gonna shut up. No one knows I'm here. What about my right to a phone call? What about my right to an attorney? What attorney? You're with us. Shit. Shit gets so real. And just look at this. What are these? What are statistics supposed to tell you about this? Do you guys feel the difference between real talk and statistics? Can you feel it? Andrew Wilson's trying to study 17 statistics before the debate starts, trying to remember them, trying to memorize them. What the fuck is ChatGPT supposed to tell you about this stuff? If it's just going to give you statistics, right? Shout out to the casual economist says, don't copyright strike my incoming AI, TLA, and AV channel. I need to get the bag too. I feel you. I feel you. You're 100% right. You are 100% right. Shout out to Casual Economist. Thank you so much. Casual Economist has been rocking with me in the channel for years. Thank you so much, brother. Shout out to Fit. What is Fit? Let me hit it all for Fit. What does it say? Now that's facts right there. It says, I watched a judge just last week reject a plea offer because the prosecutor hadn't done enough work and proceeded to tell the ADA from the bench to go listen to the 911 calls and some more other shit. Okay. Yeah, in Georgia, and not just in Atlanta, but really in all Georgia, I've never seen that level of corruption. Now, Fit knows that the defendants always think that the prosecutors and the public defenders are in bed together. They always think that. That is never the case. It's always the prosecutor and these goddamn judges. These judges. Fit's 100% right, man. Shout out. Somebody write Fit in the damn channel. She's exactly right. Big shout out to Fit. Shout out to Blue. Thank you so much, Blue. Blue, man, blessing me. Blue says in Cook County, they kidnap inmates to take them to unknown stations and beat confessions out of them. Your lawyer can't even find you. I believe it. That really, that the whole black sites thing and the Snowden thing, I was like, Lee, you're such a fucking baby, man. You're so fucking naive. They never told me about this when I was going through. None of this black site shit was on the bar. None of it was on the bar. None of it was on the LSAT. None of it was in first year crim procedure, crim law, none of it. So I graduated, took the bar, I became a full-fledged lawyer, never knew about all this corruption. They never teach you about corruption ever. They never mention it. Law school, guys, it doesn't teach you how to be a lawyer. It just teaches you how to think critically and how to interpret cases. That's it. It doesn't tell you something very important, something that Fit is very good at about getting the money. Law school will never teach you about $1. You gotta learn all this shit on your own, man. You gotta learn how to look a motherfucker in the face and say 12,000 up front, 25,000 up front, and don't even blink like it's not a lot of money. But when you really need it, you have to learn how to ask for a lot of money at the same time when you really need the fucking money. But you gotta act like you don't need it when you really do need it, and it's a lot. And people are very sensitive, especially when they come to money, and they will just look you in the face. And if you crack even for a little bit, they can be like, "Oh, I don't know, something. This nigga really need the money. I don't. He just, he just talking." When you really do need that fucking money, and it's a lot of money. Fit done had them goddamn convers. They don't teach you how to do that in law school. Now, when you get older, you can do that. But imagine being 25. Imagine being 28 years old, 31 years old, and asking for 10 grand up front. 10 grand in cash, and you 29 years old and you're talking to a 38-year-old. They're way older than you and you're asking for money that they barely got and you need it. That's some more behind the scenes shit right there. Boy, like law school don't teach the real. It do not teach the and this the real shit you need to know. Oh my God. Shout out to Blue. Shout out a little gaming channel again, the stream sponsor. Oh my God. Shout out, man. And I know I haven't updated it. I know I need to put you as a stream sponsor, but I just been, we just been riffing. And big, big shout out to Viva Wood. Like somebody write Viva in the damn chat. Because Viva was the stream sponsor for so long during this. But I need to acknowledge my man, little gaming channel again, and again. Stream sponsor, just that, I'm telling you stuff. You're not going to find anything that I'm talking about besides Fitz channel. You're not going to find it anywhere on YouTube. Yeah, you can try to be like Andrew and try to, Google it, try to memorize the 17 stats real quick. You will never find it. And so many of you are in the chat. So many of you are liking the videos. Please like. So many of you are just supporting the content. But it's a few of you that are just going way over and above. And Little Gaming Channel is the one underwriting this entire live. And I don't think it's a live you will find on the platform. Big shout out to Little Gaming Channel. Thank you so much, brother. What does he say? He says, like the judge and prosecutor in the Julio Fulio trial I watched on AV's channel. The entire trial was sketchy. She was on the defense attorney's head. Yes. And such a great observation. Such a great observation. It's all corrupt. But little gaming channel is going to talk about how the judge is really coming down harder on the defense. Who is the defense defending? Black people. If the judge is inordinately hard on the defense has a higher chances of losing. When the defense loses, what does that result in? It results in a conviction. Oh, well, the FBI says that black men get convicted of felonies. Did the FBI statistic talk about the corruption of these judges, the favor and the prosecution that these judges have? Well, I got to Google that. Which I got to Google that. I didn't see it. The statistics didn't say that necessarily, but I can Google it real quick. You can Google it real quick. What do I need to Google? Just tell me. Just tell you. I got it open. Just Little Gaming Channel is exactly right. 100%. You guys know. Some of you guys know, man. Shout out to Blue. What does Blue say? Blue says, when I mention these sites on the channel, one day the white boys call me a victim. They call me a liar. They didn't see it in the stats. Blue, I gotta write you in the day of a banner too, man. They did not see it in the stats. But I will stand up for these white people. Because Blue, if you had told me about without me knowing, Blue, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love you. But if you had told me just out of the blue about black sites in Chicago, if you had just told me out of the blue about secret prosecutors in the nation, secret courts in the nation, if you had told me about these secret orders and I didn't know nothing about Snowden, I wouldn't have believed you either. You're crazy. You sound like a flat earther. You sound like 9/11 was an inside job. Wait, bad example. So I feel where you're coming from, Blue, but the reality is that reality is so far fetched, but it's so right at the same time. So I'm not gonna blame them white boys because that sound crazy as hell. If they called you a liar and they were ignorant, like I would have been ignorant, I would have thought you were lying too, or at least mistaken. Especially a lawyer. Like, what do you mean? I'm a lawyer, Blue. What do you mean that they're fake right, fake judges? They're secret judges. I went to law school, Blue. I passed the bar. I did 3 years of law school. Not one day did they mention secret orders, secret prosecutors. Oh, Blue, you crazy as hell. So I feel where you're coming from when you're right and no one believes you. But at the same time, if you're saying some crazy shit like that, I can see why people don't believe you. There was for years, I remember when 9/11 happened, and then a few years later, people were like, hey, man, that's an inside job. I would get upset. And it's only like 3 years ago when shit started coming up in my feed, and I'm like, wait a minute. You're telling me that those twin towers were worthless because they were filled with asbestos? Yes. And you're telling me that no one would buy them because they were worthless? Yes, no one would buy them because they would have to take out all the asbestos and the cost of the renovation, taking out all the asbestos of all those different floors of both twin towers, it would exceed just billions of dollars. Yes, no one would buy them. But then you're telling me some guy from a known country, I mean, a known heritage, bought the twin towers 2, 3 months before they fell? Yes. And then he put on special insurance? Yes. And the special insurance had a special rider for terrorism? Yes. And it upped the payout if a terroristic act happened? Yes. And he would stand to gain billions if there was a terroristic act? Yes. And then in 60 days, there was a terroristic act? Wait a minute. When no one would buy those buildings for years? No, they were worthless. They were filled to the brim with asbestos. They were filled to the gills with asbestos. And then you got all these structural engineers that look and see how the towers came. All these structural engineers are like, hey, man, that's not how, I know the jets were filled or the planes were filled with gas. That is not how buildings fall. These buildings were drilled out. These buildings had dynamite sticks in them. They were drilled out. Look how perfectly they fell. We've all seen demolitions. We've seen bad demolitions when the towers lean to one side. We've seen bad demolitions when the towers lean to the other side. How do these fucking towers fall? I haven't gone too much down the rabbit hole. I'm not gonna say it was an inside job, but I got questions. But I haven't gone too far down, but I've gone down enough to be able to question. And Blue, if you would have told me that shit before I went down that rabbit hole, I would have told you you were lying. Just like when people tell me, "Oh, lead 9/11's inside job." Shut the fuck up. You crazy as hell. You a liar. Let me tell you some facts, lead, because you're ignorant. Blue's right, man. Blue's right. You know what does my man Curtis say? Shout out to Curtis, huge supporter of the channel. Always question. I know shit gonna sound strange. Always question. Right? Shout out to the casual economist. Says thanks for this long ass stream, Lee. You back to your normal self. You know what, guys? I had to get my chemo today. And when they give you chemo, because it fucks up your shit, they have to give you all these steroids. And these steroids don't let you sleep. I ain't gonna sleep tonight. Last time I think I did a 10, 12-hour a stream. Y'all were like, "Oh, Lee, you're killing the game." Y'all didn't know I had them goddamn steroids. I was like this the whole fucking night. Oh. It was 3 a.m. I was like, "Hey guys, don't leave. Don't leave me." These goddamn medications fuck your ass up. Guys, can we do this right quick though? I mean, we're not going to go too much longer, but I do want to do this. I have to use the bathroom. All right, let me be honest. Let's do it. Just give me 5 minutes. Give me 3 minutes. Okay, I never do this, but you know, I'm a cancer patient. All right, Blue Baggins using the race card. I'm gonna use the cancer card. I never do this, but give me 1 second. All right, let's go.
No, you call them degenerates if they sleep around.
Yeah, if they're highly promiscuous, I consider that to be degeneracy.
Okay,
but
so
I still, even for those degenerate men, want the best for health and resources for those men.
So what about men that just want to live with a woman for 10 years and have sex first? Are they
terrible idea? Horrible idea by every single metric. Yeah, totally. Totally degenerate. And it's a terrible idea.
Sure. But a better idea is to wait till marriage and give a woman the ultimate honor that you could ever give a woman. And she
in the comparison of those two
situations, she doesn't even have to have sex with you to get it.
They don't have to have sex with you if you live with them either. What's your point?
Well,
like they don't have to have sex in that situation either. And when you're looking at the fact that living with a woman long term without marrying her, you end up anyway with these ideas of like common law marriage. You can still get taken to the ringer on that. The other alternative there is that the children are generally going to have terrible outcomes. Between those two choices, absolutely, I would prescribe that marriage is better than those. Even bad marriage would be better than those.
Okay, yeah. So again, that's a tough sell. I mean, maybe the men in the audience will buy it, right?
No, I think that mine was the good sell. So I think the shaming tactic comes from the idea of you saying,
but you're the
this
one
is how
calling.
I hear it. What I hear is men are so fucking stupid they can't mitigate their own risk. So just check out, guys. You're too fucking dumb. And I think the opposite. I think men are super fucking smart, and we can definitely do something inside of the societal social field to change the conditionals for men.
Who has more legal power, men or women?
In which context? At the mercy of the system or at the mercy of changing the system?
All right. Who do politicians cater to, men or women?
They generally cater toward women and children's needs first, yes.
Who does the legal system cater to, men or women?
Generally speaking, it's going to cater to the weaker sex and children. Yes.
Okay. Who does the media cater to? Men or women?
Yeah, same. I can just answer yes to all the institutions doing this.
Okay, so if an individual man is going to outsmart this billion-dollar system,
so they're too dumb to do it?
I would say they don't have power. I wouldn't say dumb, but I don't think
But
that,
don't men collectively have powers to overthrow entire systems via force doctrine?
okay, but I mean, when you're talking in the abstract, that's like easy.
No,
right?
I'm
But
talking in the
I want to
instruct,
go.
so
I want to go specific. So my producer, he's listening, right? So he's gonna make a decision in the next 5 years about what he wants to
Good.
do with his life, right?
Yeah.
And so he's listening. Now, what power does he have if a woman throws an abuse claim at him? What can he really do?
Yeah, so he can do all the same thing that men have always done during any sort of claim for abuse. He can mitigate risk. You can do this via security cameras. You can do this via the Pence rule. You can do this via all sorts of various rules that men have instituted to protect themselves from false allegations of abuse. If you're talking about inside of long-term relationships, that's really hard for women to prove. Really hard for women to prove. Even marital rape is hard for women to prove.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!